house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 17 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Marley Mel. I totally remember you from Beamly last year, and I want to thank you for sticking with us this season, and I want to say, what's up, girl? Seriously, so cool. I love how we build a relationship with you guys every season. It's just fun. Alright, so let's talk about what's going on in the house. Austin is very concerned about Liz being the potential replacement nominee this week, so he's taken action. He's talking to Vanessa. He's telling her, we need to be worried about this group that he's calling the late night crew. So this is like Jason, James, Meg. They have consistently been staying up late every night. And when I say late, I mean like 6 in the morning. No lie. First of all, he's annoyed that they're being so loud when he's trying to sleep. He's just like, oh, get out of here, I'm tired. But also, he's worried that they're talking game into the wee hours of the morning. So he's a little bit concerned that Liz is going to go up on the block, and then this late night crew is going to get people together and flip the vote somehow and keep day. So then Austin brings up his concern to Clay. He's like, they're up until like 7 a.m. They're definitely talking game. We gotta take care of this. So Vanessa brings this information to Shelly up in the HOH room, and she's like, yeah, so Austin told me that Day was trying to rally that crew to keep her this week, and her campaign strategy was saying that she was gonna go after Clay and you. So Shelly's just like, what? How is this happening? What's going on? So then Vanessa's like, yeah, and Johnny Mac was there when they were all hanging out, and he knows a lot of information because he knows about Shelly's whole plan for him to throw the Battle of the Block competition to make sure that Day stays up on the block. So that would really hurt Shelly if that information got out. So Shelly's just like, well, Johnny Mac owes us right now. What? Are you serious? If anything, you owe him. He freaking went out there and threw that competition for you. How does he owe you? So then Clay and Austin join in on the conversation, and they're a little bit worried that Audrey could potentially start working with Day again. You know, maybe they'll be like, well, we're both big targets, so let's keep each other in the house for as long as possible, and then, you know, like that kind of thing. So they're a little bit worried that Audrey could keep Day this week and then go after Clay and Shelly. So Clay leaves, Liz comes in, and she's just like, Shelly, you can't put me up. Liz is worried. She's freaking out a little bit. So Liz, Vanessa, and Austin are all saying, you should probably put up someone like Meg, who's got a lot of friends in the house. She's in the same group as Day. So they're going to be less likely to flip the votes. Like, no one is going to want to vote out Meg right now. She's not really doing that much that they see anyway. And they feel like they can beat her in competitions. So after a little convincing, Shelly agrees, and she's like, you know what? You make a really good point. So Clay and Shelly are chatting up in the HOH room, and can I just say, they are always up there. Like, ivory tower to the max. There is a serious case of HOH-itis in the house right now. So Shelly is telling Clay that last bit of the conversation because he wasn't in the room for it. So she's just like, yeah, I want to put up Meg instead of Liz. It just makes more sense. And Clay is like, well, I'm not really sure if all that information from Austin about the late night crew is true, but he's like, I don't really care who goes up on the block. You just do what you think is best, and I'll go along with it. Okay, mommy? So Shelly is just like, good, I'll put up Meg then. So then Shelly brings up how she's annoyed that more people haven't been going up to the HOH room and talking to her all the week, and they must not care or they feel safe. Maybe it's because you and Honey Butt are isolating yourselves up there, or maybe it's because you were shady this week and went against your alliance. Speaking of alliances, Shelly brings up how she's starting to trust Austin and Liz and Vanessa more than James and that group now, because those three have been talking to her this week. They've been coming up to the HOH room. She feels like they have a bond now. So that's pretty interesting. You know what else is interesting? Austin put a freaking shirt on last night. I think that's the first time that I've seen him wearing a top since the premiere episode. Like, seriously, he like never wears shirts. It's so weird. I guess his tattoos are kind of like a shirt. So the feeds went off for a little while last night for the house guests to get their 4th of July celebration. They got some barbecue food, they got some pizza, and even the have-nots got to enjoy. So happy 4th of July. Moving on. Jeff, Clay, and Shelly were having a chat in the HOH room. Of course it was in the HOH room, hitting multiple topics. They talked about how Audrey was telling Shelly that she should put up Becky this week. She wanted her to be the replacement nominee, and they were just like, what's that all about? But then they were like, oh, well, I guess it makes sense because Becky was gunning after Audrey hardcore this week. So then, new topic, Jeff was saying he doesn't really trust Austin or Liz because they were so close to Jace. Now, I'm having a bit of a hard time figuring out how Jeff really feels about Austin and Liz because it does seem like he kind of trusts them. I don't know, maybe he's just playing both sides right now, but it's a little bit difficult to get a read on how he really feels about them. But Jeff is saying, like, yeah, I want Audrey to go next, and then I want Austin to go after her. We'll see. So then Shelly brings up again how she's disappointed that more people aren't coming up to the HOH room to talk to her. And she starts like yelling at Jeff for not talking to her this week or like hanging out casually. So she's like, I can't believe that you haven't been coming up here, and don't talk to me through Clay. You have to talk to me directly. It's like insulting, blah, 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 blah. So then she also says how he shouldn't be sharing all this information with Clay anyway because Clay can't keep his mouth shut, which is true. Clay's mouth, I think, is going to be his downfall in this game. He's just telling everything to everybody. So then Jackie and Johnny Mac come into the room. They join the conversation. And they're all like, you know what, I feel really good about this group that's in here right now, the 5 of us. I feel like we could have something here. So they start talking about potentially forming an alliance, the 5 of them. And then they're starting to talk about pulling in a few more people. Why can't you just do like 5 people? They want to bring in like 2 or 3 more people. No, you're getting back into half the house territory. It never works. Stop adding people. So they pretty much decide that at least the 5 of them are going to do this alliance. They didn't come up with a name yet, so it's not totally official. But I think we're going to see that flesh out a little bit more in the next day or so. So then a little while later, Johnny Mac leaves the room and Shelly tells Jeff and Jackie that Meg is going to be going up on the block. So at first Jeff looks a little bit bummed about it, but then after a few minutes they're just like, yeah, I guess Meg is going to be safe against Day. I guess that's your best bet to get rid of her, so I guess. Alright, so last night was pretty tame. Austin and Jeff were doing this podcast, and at first I got these awful flashbacks to Big Brother Canada 3 with Jordan. Oh my god, it was exhausting. But thankfully it wasn't like that, so yay! Okay, so then really early this morning, Jason, James, Jeff, and Meg were all hanging out, and Jason freaking has this all figured out. He's telling everybody what's going on in the house because he is very perceptive. He's like, Day is the target this week, and the replacement nominee is most likely going to be Meg. And Meg was just like, what? You think so? She says that she's going to be pissed if Shelly doesn't come up to her before the ceremony and at least warn her that that's going to happen. So Jason then goes into his plans. If he wins HOH next week, he's targeting Audrey. He's just like, well, she's got to go. Got to get her out of here. She's poison. He didn't actually call her poison, but imagine. And then, Big Brother Canada. Then he says his plan B, if he can't get rid of Audrey, is Vanessa. He's not playing around. So Jeff's contribution to this conversation is about how he wants to at least make it to jury with Liz because he feels like Liz is going to be DTF in the jury house. He thinks he's going to get some. I don't think so. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So then eventually James suggests they should call themselves the After Dark Crew. Isn't that funny? Because Austin has been calling them the late night crew, and now all of his worst fears are coming true. So today was a pretty chill day. Big Brother opened the photo booth for a while. Props for everyone, yay! And I want to talk about Day a little bit. She's been very quiet since she was nominated. She hasn't been like confronting anyone or anything like that. And I don't know if she's been saving her energy for the big campaign that's bound to happen, or maybe she's feeling defeated, or maybe it's a little bit of both. But we saw some signs of life today, which was exciting. So Day was talking to Vanessa about her situation, and she's like, I'm not gonna roll over and die, I'm gonna fight. And Vanessa's just like, yeah, you gotta keep fighting, blah, blah, blah. She says that she's gonna try and think of ways to help Day. Are you really though? I don't think so. So then Day pulled Shelly aside to chat in the cabana room, and Day is just like, I do not want to go home yet. I'm here for my daughter. I need to stay. This is not my week to go. So then they start like rehashing things from the past. Shelly is just like, I'm still really confused about why you gave that immunity from the Amazing Race twist to Liz and not me or Audrey when we had that alliance from day one. So Day is like, well, all those rumors were already going around about like an 8-person alliance, so I didn't want to add fuel to those flames. So she was like, I wanted to throw people off by giving it to someone like Liz. So then Day was like, well, Shelly, I didn't think that you were going to want to talk to me anymore after her little tiff with Clay. And Shelly was just like, no, like, I'm my own person, blah, blah, blah. So then Day makes her move. She asks Shelly to nominate Audrey as the replacement nominee, and let the house decide who should go home this week. Give her a chance to stay. And Shelly is basically like, I am loyal to Audrey, so I'm not going to put her up. Also, she's a little nervous if Day stays in the house. It's going to come back to bite her eventually. So that's pretty much Shelly telling Day, you're going home this week. So even with that, Day just like sucks it up, ends the conversation with a hug, and she's all, alright, so the power veto ceremony should be tomorrow. And I'm guessing like the phone calls for the twist this week should happen starting tomorrow, because we haven't had any yet. So tomorrow's Monday, eviction is Thursday. I feel like we gotta get this ball rolling here. So it should be an interesting few days with Day starting the campaign and everything. But before we end, I just want to say happy birthday to Big Brother, because BBUS premiered 15 years ago today, July 5th. Isn't that fun? I can't believe it. I can't believe it's been 15 years. That's insane. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think of what's going on in the comments. What do you think of Meg as the replacement nominee? Is this a good idea? Do you think Day is going to try to flip the votes, or what? Do you think she'll be able to? And until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.